team, I'm greeting all the journalists who enlighten the whole world about our struggle for freedom. This time, we will talk with Sviatoslav Ruban, who is working on initiative on Tribunal for Putin. And Sviatoslav represents the Center of Civilian Liberties of a Ukrainian organization that became last month well known to the whole of the world after receiving the Nobel Prize in 2022. Mr. Sviatoslav, can you tell us about how the life of organization changed after such acknowledgement and after your organization received Nobel Prize? Well, primarily, there appeared more responsibilities and capabilities to highlight, to enlighten to the world about Russian crimes, the Russians are doing on the territory of Ukraine. Did it become an additional factor of influence? Did it has it become an additional instrument of influence, an additional instrument you are when you're talking about your initiative? Yes, definitely. That's another capability for us to be heard and to let the world community know that information we managed to document and to make it favorable to put to the court all those who are responsible for these crimes. Let us talk about Tribunal for Putin initiative. Your colleagues in your organization has already represented the project here in Media Center, Ukraine. At what stage is this project right now? Well, taking into account that this is a global initiative, it is increasing dynamically and globally, and it represents the net of organization that are working in different districts of Ukraine, and correspondingly they are documenting war crimes. As at right now, we have documented more than 24,000 these kind of cases. That is why the project itself is constantly in a dynamic development, and some volunteers also are involved into this project who participate in field trips in order to detect and to conduct interviews and to to document the facts of what the viewers and observers of this event saw. Also, the necessary advocacy groups they form the necessary cases and put and 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 go to the court with this in order to achieve justice. What kind of cases, most of the cases you're facing, and that's the one that you have to document? Russian Federation is intentionally doing military crimes that are depicted both in killing, assassination, torturing, kidnapping, annihilation of property, and the aggression on civilian objects, as well as the use of living people as the life shield. And we definitely know that there on the occupied territories there is a process of filtration, and we definitely know that these are the methods they are trying to ruin and destroy our will to resist, and correspondingly to that. Are there any grounds to say that these crimes were systematic, that this is not just one case, one single and separated cases, but this is something bigger than that? The uniqueness of our initiative is that starting from the 24th of February, in a chronomical methodology, we have capabilities to follow the whole process of aggression on civilian objects, killing and those war crimes Russian Federation is doing. And on our website, you can see monthly statistics of how many crimes have been documented there. And correspondingly, the analysis allows us to state that these are the actions done on purpose. Let us talk a little bit about the future of this initiative. What can be the further fate of this project and the next algorithm of actions. Well, in any case, we are working towards the direction of creation of hybrid tribunal to which to which the leaders, the high leaders of Russian Federation will be sent to the court, as well as those who executed the orders and did these military crimes. As at right now, this base is filled continuously, and we will be working into direction so that each episode, each case, to receive its own further development in the legislative sphere. Who can create such a tribunal so to make its results legitimate and to have the practical ways of its implementation? You know, as it right now, we have several options. We and 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 both on state level and on our level, we are working towards this direction. However, in any case, this is a process that will take some time, and the load, even for the national system, is extremely huge. For example, the General Prosecution Office of Ukraine has documented more than 40,000 war crimes, and correspondingly, this is a huge volume of work in each of them. Can you tell us at least some of the judicial ways how, by means of which this initiative can develop? You know, we cooperate with the International Criminal Court, with European Court on Humanitarian Rights, and that is why the mechanisms are being created right now. Do you work with Ukrainian government? Because we hear about separate initiatives of tribunals of another kind initiated by Ukrainian government. You know, obviously, yes, we cooperate with them, both with the prosecution office as well as with the Ukrainian government, and our experts are also involved into these processes. Can one understand your words in such a way that, by means of international criminal law, court or other institutions, you already see the possible ways and instruments how to move forward? Yes, indeed. Correct. All right. Do you know anything about the initiative in United States since the beginning of court hearings in accordance with Ukrainian legislation base? Well, I want to pay attention here to the fact that yes, indeed, they all are in search of a way how to do it, because in the past, the precedents were of this kind of formats were absent. That's why one will need time for that and different approaches. And I think that all the stakeholders and interested sides, interested parties, will do everything to do it as quick as possible and as effective as possible. All right, let us come back to those crimes documented. When you are asked to explain how do actions of Russian occupants differ from many other military conflicts in many parts of our planet, what do you respond to this? Why are the crimes of Russian occupants? They demand some special international attention. Well, the reason for that is that they appeared basically um, from the absence of punishment, and I think, and this country is systematically continuing offensive wars, where this country uses the tactics of military crimes as one of their main methods of war. And for this purpose, we can take a look at those campaigns that happened in, for example, Chechnya, where there were documented more than 1 million of military crimes. And this exactly that happened in the premises of Georgia, and we know that Russian military servicemen has to do with what is going on in Syria. That is why, while feeling this absence punishment, allows them to do the same very actions in Ukraine. Do you receive any information from the occupied regions of Ukraine? Do you see any traces and evidences of crimes there in the liberated territory? I mean, Kiev, Chernigiv, Kharkiv regions, or we can only guess what is going on there on the occupied territories right now? Well, truth be told, unfortunately, this is a hard and complicated process, primarily because there are problems with signal, and it is hard for people to move out where the signal is accessible. And as a rule, we learn about these crimes after the occupation of populated areas. And an example of Izium is one more time stating and emphasizing that what is going on there is a big pain for us. To my mind, the situation with Kherson, unfortunately, will open up a new fragment in this tragical book connected with Ukrainian people. May I ask you, what do you mean by that? I mean, those people who happen to be there on the occupied territories, they are going through filtration processes. It means that this is one of the methods um, of going through the obstacles for their Ukrainian position. Uh, that is why, with a high possibility that in each populated area, even in the smallest one, I guess, where Russian military servicemen were, there appeared war crimes. Does it mean that unfortunately we have the basis to expect that on those liberated regions of Kherson regions there will be more evidences and cases of war crime? Yes, indeed, correct. Sviatoslav, and the last question I have. When people ask you about the future, what gives you optimism to say that the justice will take place regarding those people who did those war crimes? What gives you reasons to be optimistic in these terms and during this hard and adverse case? Well, that's indeed a good question, and the belief in the fact that every evil should be punished and good forces always win the evil. This is something that motivates me, and we are counterposing to evil right now. And this evil is clear and pure evil. This was Sviatoslav Ruban, documentarian of Tribunal for Putin Initiative, Center of Civil Liberties. Thank you for the things that you do and for the actions you take. And everyone who is following us, I urge you to